You're watching Taste of Victory.
What's up, everybody? We've had a ton more of results now for the BT13 format, so we're here to take a look again at the meta and see what is overperforming, underperforming, and what was maybe slept on. And we are starting first by catching up on a regional I missed. It turns out, like the very day I finished rendering and started uploading the video, the Nest released their results for a recent BT13 regional in Mexico. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at that, and it'll work as a good framing point to contrast to the more recent regionals we were about to look at for the past couple of weeks. So yeah, first up is Mexico, and we have some very interesting results from it, because if you look at the chart, if you look at the placements here, Shine Greymon took up a majority of top 16. Like from 9th to 16th place onward, only 2 decks are not Shine Greymon. That is absolutely insane. And then on top of that, it ended up winning it. So yeah, people were hyped for this deck, and for good reason, because it just does so much. I did take a quick look. Congratulations to Kevin Juarez and Jairo Rubalacaba, who got first and third place respectively. I did take a look at their list. There isn't anything too crazy besides the difference between yellow base and red base between the eggs. Both are really valuable. I like them a lot. You know, the draw comes up a lot, and then the DP minusing is also incredible because that really helps you reach certain thresh points to delete opponent's Digimon. I'm personally a fan of yellow base through more testing, but as you can see, red ended up winning. Both are very viable. In addition to that, there's some interesting tech choices on both of the sides of the deck list. Here in third place, we have the Solarmon, which is a really cool tech against Royal Knights to make sure you really win that matchup. And then while the first place winner, Kevin, was not running it, they were running, however the heck you pronounce this card, which is an amazing card to see in security no matter what, because whether you are below or under 3, you still get an amazing effect either way. One's more strong than the other, obviously, since one's a mini degrade, chaos degradation, but it's still a fantastic, nice little bomb to put in security. So yeah, Shine Greymon is, without a doubt, one of the best decks in the format, undisputably now. Second place was Cesar Perez with Belfamon, so go ahead and take a quick look at that. We got a Tapirmon here with something we didn't see, I believe, in the last regional we covered. That's really cool. It's an additional draw engine there to make sure we get everything. Eismon there for the free summon off of the discards, and of course all the draw power. There's only so much you can really do with Belfamon because it's kind of like, you know, cards are kind of naming what you want to put in the list to kind of name themselves. So to an extent, you just kind of differing on tech choices. We have 4 Underworld's Call and 4 Nidhogg Mons, which are both cards that get benefits off of being discarded from hand, which you'll be doing a lot of in this deck. So it makes a lot of sense to max out on that to make sure you get as much advantage as you can. Really cool list, and mad congrats to them to coming in third place. We do see a Hunters. So this is looking a lot like the last video we saw, where it's kind of like the expected best decks in the format, and then Hunters just kind of sneaking in there when no one was expecting it. And it was by Jesus Isimar, so mad respect to them. This is 5th place again. And again, Huntress is pretty standard. We'll take a quick look, but there is one little cool tech here of Kongu, which stops Digimon 7 or less from attacking, and they can't stack cards for security. So if your opponent tries to recover out of lethal, they can't now. It's a really cool little tech here, because you do have a lot of black sources to turn this on, so I like that. We really don't see that much deviation from the typical Crossheart list, because, or Hunters, whatever, because they literally tell you what cards you need to run on their text boxes and stuff. So it's really nice to see a little tech like that actually paying off and getting top 16, or rather top 8 at a regional. So mad respect to them. Shout out to Mexico. Love you guys. We're going on to the GenCon regional results, which we saw now. This is for the GenCon offline regional, which was Saturday, August 5th. I am not going to include the Sunday results in this video. If you want to take a look at them, they are in the description below. You can see for yourself, but I do not think there is competitively viable information to pull from that, because they were hard capped at 6 rounds because the stadium would close early, and it was a best of 1 format. So it's funny, you know, congratulations to everyone that got their invite, totally still valid. But I will not be putting it because I think that kind of skews. It changes a lot. You know, people were building for that one format that'll probably not exist ever again. So unless you're doing local or something, so I will not choose to include. So I would choose to not include it in this video. But for the Saturday one, which was full typical normal round, we saw that Blue Flare ended up taking first place, the only one to get any representation from what I can see here in all of top 16 for this GenCon offline regional. That was Neil Bonaparte. So really big congrats to him. If I said that wrong, it's because I'm used to Spanish pronunciation. So we have Galismon, we have Jacobon, which is a really cool tech. Honestly, pretty standard stuff, aside from like the 1 or 2 Death X bonds. Like I really don't think people are really running that anymore in BT13, so it's cool to see that, because it does help you in a lot of matchups. Even if it's not necessarily deleting too much off of the Royal Knights deck, you still get to You still get to play this giant boss monster out for a very reduced cost if they get a big board. For Sarai, because this card just by itself swings the matchup. If you see multiple of these in a given turn, more than enough to stop the average deck that isn't Hunters, to stop them from swinging and get you the turn you need to win. So yeah, very cool. The deck's just very fast, hits hard, and is able to control at the same time because of stuff like Sarai. And I believe there's a Metal Greymon that trashes sources as well in Digicross. So awesome list there. Man, congrats to Neil for being able to do that well on an unconventional deck. Or, well, it's still very good. Blue Flare is very good, as shown here, but it's been slept on. So let's see how much Belphemon has changed in the week or so between these two decks. Pretty similar. We see a lot of the same base, except Jeffrey Goodwin is on an Omnimon Swartz. Analog Youth is also in there as well. And we got the Psychmon to stop the Royal Knights matchup. So very cool there. Yeah, a lot of these decks from BT13, you know, and below, they kind of just build themselves with the little tech choices. So that's why I'm very much looking to BT14 and the direction the game may be taking there to open up deck building. So that is second place there. After that, we got a lot of Shine Greymon being the most represented deck again, meaning like, yeah, it's without a doubt the deck you need to build for and beat. We see Greymon, specifically Black Warrior Greymon X Focused, making it to fourth place. That is by Alan Busby. Now, this is an incredible deck, and I think in this format it's going to be good because like people are, you know, starting to get hyped for Hunters. This is a good answer to Hunters. Shine Greymon uses a lot of Tamers. This pops Tamers. I think it's going to be a very, very good deck. The more people start getting used to it and building it for the format. There's a lot of ways. There's so many Greymon cards. There's a lot of ways you could take this build. This one seems to run Agumon X, the promo, and then it has the one from X1. That's something you don't see often at all. It's only for the inherit effect, which is when attack once per turn, you may play one attack coming with a play cost of 3 or less from your hand without paying its cost. And that does help you play the new one, which is really huge because that would then in turn on your start of your main phase give them, or that very same turn when you play it, one of your Agumon or Greymon plus 1000 DP and blocker, which could be the difference between lethal in some situations. So like that a lot. Only 2 Hades Force, so you don't want to see too many of it too early. And yeah, pretty much standard stuff from there. You got the Raid War Greymon because it gets past so many things. Black War Greymon to pop Tamers, and then Black War Greymon X to make your opponent's life miserable. It's such a good card. So yeah, very not surprised to see that. I love that. Shine Greymon, same stuff here. So we got 4th and 5th place. Let's see how much this changes in between the last couple of regionals and if it's red or yellow. Yeah, yellow seems to be consistently performing up high. I wonder if the 5th place one was also yellow base or if it's still like changing. Yeah, red, man. It's like up to your preference. Whatever you expect to see and whatever you are more comfortable with your preference that fits your play style better, you know, is what you're going to end up settling on. You know, I don't think there's any wrong or right choice. They're both very much seeing accurate, you know, even placement in the top 16. So it's definitely up to what you expect to see, making a bit of a meta call there and what you prefer to play, what plays into your preference. Hunters, again, just kind of sneaking in there. It seems like it doesn't end up making too much of a big splash in top 16, but it's consistently getting in there if you know what you're doing and you're able to pilot it well. So that is that. Next up, we'll be taking a look at the GenCon Online regional that took place on Friday. I will not be including the Thursday one for similar reasons, where it's like not very many people were able to enter it, and it was kind of just like because of the day, you know, I'm assuming a lot of people travel to the in-person event, and it's a Thursday. It's kind of hard to do a webcam regional that day, so it was a lot shorter. I don't know how much we can actually glean from it. But here is the Friday one, which is really cool because we see that a Jesmon GX made it in here, 9th place Shane Singh. So congratulations to them. That is awesome to get in top 16 with Jesmon, a deck which a lot of people have been sleeping on. So, and it's only one top in top 16, but a top 16 top through a powerful regional is still something to very much be respected, which makes a lot of sense here because we see the pretty standard package here. Nothing too crazy of a tech, I don't think. You're kind of just running what is normally ran in these decks in addition to a Crimson Blaze to help with your white boards. Because, yeah, Genkumon X is just really great into this format because you potentially get the bounce protection. You potentially get the minus DP protection. Like, it does a lot for this deck to protect them. My worry with it is that it's only like once per turn, that turn that it comes out. So you really have to make it count and you have to hope to see it. You're 2 of. So, I don't know how, like, I don't know if I can consistently keep doing that every regional going forward, but we're able to like get the good roll that he needed, the good luck in this format and get top in this regional and get top 9th. So congratulations to them. That is awesome. After that, finally, we see Hunters actually win one of these things. They're consistently getting top 16, but we haven't seen one actually win it. This time we actually have 2 Hunters, so that's going up from the one we saw previously, and one of them was the winner for this online regional. That is huge. Like we said before, pretty standard list. Usually only have like 1 or 2 cards that are crazy tech, and this one is going to be Overflowing Power, which lets you digicross with something that you have saved underneath the Tamer, so with Save This Text. So that's pretty funny there. I wonder how much that came up if the, you know, pilot which is, let's give credit where credit is due, he and Hyun, if he is watching. I would love to hear in the comments an explanation of like how that came up, if it did often in tournament. Very cool there. And we actually saw a red hybrid. I believe in the Mexico regional, there's also one that I accidentally overlooked, Allen Cabrera, which was 4th place. So if we go ahead and compare them, I really see how much, I'm really curious to see how much they differ. So that's from Mexico's regional a couple weeks ago, and this is from the GenCon Online regional. There are some differing here. This is a much more standard package, except with the Neemon, and this one is Forsaken the Neemon and Bokumon for 4 Gravity Crush and an Omnimon Blitz to help seal games. So that is very cool there. 4 Gravity Crush is very interesting because you don't have to pay anything, unlike Bokumon, and then have to wait to Digivolve over a Tamer. You can just use it whenever you want to, and you don't even care about the effect to pay back the cost, because if you're using this, you're going to go in for game and try to win or push huge advantage, where it wouldn't even matter at that point how much you're losing. So very interesting build there. It's really cool to see Gravity Crush putting in work, a card from all the way in Booster Set 1 that has been written off for a long time. So yeah, Red Hybrid is just a really explosive deck, man. If you don't see that out right away, if you don't got a lot of blockers, if you're not able to put on pressure quickly, Red Hybrids will steal the game before you could even notice. Like, it's so fast. And that was Tara Richson. Congratulations to them. Charles Lowe got 3rd place with a Bloom Lord, so that is cool. We see multiple Bloom Lord up in here, actually. I believe 2 here in 3rd and 7th place. If we look at the 3rd place list, we see that they have a, looks by the numbers, pretty standard list with some of the new Rosemon support in it with the Yoshino, and that is awesome. There's also the Lalamon, and they actually have the Kokomon egg. Your turn, once per turn, when an effect suspends one of your Digimon, draw 1, which is very easy to meet in this deck, so it makes a lot of sense. Very cool overall to see Bloom Lord still able to put in that work, especially with 2 tops. Like, in a format with Shine Greymon and a lot of stun running around, people have absolutely written off this deck, but it looks like if you know what you're doing with it and prepared accordingly, you can get very high still. Like, this is a solid list. Awesome to see that going well. This is a very diverse format. Like, I genuinely think this is the most diverse format we have had in Digimon in quite a while. So I am very excited to keep exploring it and see what BT14 brings us as we go into the next format. Next is 6th place Shilu, which is an Alphamon player. Congratulations to them. That is super sick. Being able to get top 8 with Alphamon, because they did get new support in this set, and it seems to be paying off extremely well. 2 of the new Alphamon that is introduced in the Royal Knight set, 4 of the new Dorugamon replacing the old one, it seems like, at a higher count. And other than that, pretty standard stuff that we saw before in the typical Alphamon build. I'm not sure how typical Final Zubagon Punch is, though, or if that's a spicy attack, because that paired with any of the Alphamons plus Oryukin mode, like, oh man, that sounds amazing. That sounds like a hard to get past wall. I love that. Huge cool tech there, and I'm glad it paid off for them. Yeah, the protection that it offers, because like Shine Greymon is, as we can see, one of the most representative decks in the entire format. So Alphamon has the ability to protect against the DP minusing. And I just assume that gives it a huge edge over it, which is why if people are like willing to bring it and know how to pilot it, you gotta go far. We have a Bielstarmon coming back from the dead with James Canthamontry. Congratulations to them. 8th place at the Friday GenCon Online Regional. This is Bielstarmon with a, whoa, this deck is teched out. You got the usual typical stuff, the options that you need to reach the 7 cards in trash. You have the new one introduced in the Bielstarmon starter deck, but you also got 2 Ruin modes. Ruin mode's insane. That makes a lot of sense, yeah, because you can just play this thing out for free or incredibly cheap, and then you just go into Ruin mode from there, skipping the entire Digivolution climb. And Ruin mode is just a godly card, dude. It literally, against the average deck, will always buy you an additional turn. So being able to get multiples off, like, it's absolutely insane. The minus 5,000 TP is just unbelievably brutal. It will stall you off for another turn, which might be all you need to get another card in trash to play another Bielstarmon or Bielstar for free next turn, something like that. Yeah, and then you have the Gizmon engine to get your draws. While also have additional bodies on board to pay for stuff and to help put pressure on. So yeah, this is awesome, man. Oh, I wish I realized this had topped earlier. I would have loved to got on a deck profile interview. And if people are still interested, like, please toss them my way. Let them know. I would love to interview them still, because the Bielstarmon in the top 8. Yeah, I would be fascinated to hear the breakdown of their tournament matchups. So that's going to be the regional for the online GenCon regional. After that, we go into other regions, regionals that recently happened. First up is Tax August Oceana regional, which was online. So again, we see a very diverse spread. Shine Greymon still taking up a lot of it, but not a gigantic chunk of it like previous ones earlier in the month. And we see that Royal Knights by Alan Simpson actually ended up winning this one. We've been seeing a bit of representation for Royal Knights here and there, but this is finally where we see a ton of it. And now it's actually winning the event. That is huge. Pretty standard list, because again, this is kind of the deck where you just have to like run what the deck tells you to run, so there can be synergy. We see the Marcus in there as a cute little tech to snipe stuff like Psychmons and all those things to block your play costs, and the long Q to make your security more threatening. Very awesome. Congratulations to Alan. After that, we got Shine Greymon, once again taking up a lot of the top 16 place with second and third to Thin and Colby. If we take a look at the list here, we see this one is red base, and let's see if this one is yellow base. It'd be really funny if they keep going back and forth. There it is. Yep, it keeps going back and forth. It is your preference. It is what you are more suited to your playstyle and what you expect to see, you know. Either is completely viable, and that is very cool to see. But here we see an amazing tech here, the Kudamon. Because if you read this guy's effect, he's an incredible searcher. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 yellow Digimon card with vaccine trait, and 1 yellow Tamer card among them, both to your hand. And this inherit effect isn't too shabby either. If both players' security stack is 6 or less, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000, which is more than the typical 1,000 these give. So that is also a great effect to be able to, you know, hit thresholds to pop opponent's Digimon. Kudamon is a really great roll compression into 1 card. I love that search, potentially get multiple things off it. So it's a really nice tech at 2 copies there, but I'd be really interested to hear if it actually came up, you know, how much of his search is actually fired, and if after testing it through the tournament, if you liked it or wanted to change it. You know, I would love to hear all these little details from people piloting these decks at a high level. That is awesome to see there though. And then Blue Flare, once again, coming into top 16 with Jason Caliguri, which is 4th place. I think this is a deck that people are sleeping on, especially as long as Royal Knights are going to be popular. This deck is going to be doing well or have, you know, good matchups into it. So your Sarai really messes up Shine as well. Not only does it stun them for a while, it messes up their inheritables, which are really important to make sure you hit the right thresholds to delete your opponent's Digimon. So yeah, Blue Flare has a really seemingly good matchup into, like, spread into this meta. So it'll be cool to see if we get more of those coming up in the October regionals, you know, more representation. 2 copies of Blue Hawaii Death is a funny little tech here though. For the turn, one of your Digimon gets plus 3,000 EP. It can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon with no Digivolution cards. I like that. That's pretty cool to be able to get rid of stuff if they're playing around you. And we got Missymon as their egg of choice with 1 Wanyamon. And for there, we got more of the same, but we got Millith Loop. Is that a typo or is that like a cute pun? I'm about to find out. 9th place, congratulations to Will Dawson. Let's see. Yeah, Millith Loop. Yo, I love that. I love that it's a pun because it's a mill deck. The point of this deck is to mill out your opponent. You have stuff like Growlmon, Gilmon, War Growlmon, all this stuff mills things on Digivolution. And you have the memory boost, a ton of them right here to be able to dig for the stuff you need. So then you can mill. You have good stuff to mill like Death Slinger, you know, stuff that rewards you, kind of like Beals. And you have Shine Greymon rule mode to buy you turn, clear your board, Creepymon to push for a game, and mill those last couple of, what, like 6 to 8 cards I think it can mill on a good turn. So Millith Loop, man, I love that name. Shout out to whoever came up with that. I love it. Very interesting deck. I did not expect it to see it got like, that's awesome. Yeah, 9th place in top 16. Very cool. I believe it won like a webcam regional a very long time ago, Rome. But was that like just before BT13 came out, I think? Either way, it's really cool to see it's still doing well. It's a really funny deck. I like it a lot. And then, yeah, we got a Galamon in here. 11th place. Sean Gooden. That's interesting here. Galamon able to get 11th place. And this was the Oceana regional online. Awesome. Shout out to them. Really cool stuff in here. And we saw that Rosemon rounds up the top 16 there. So it's exciting to see even something like Shine can get in there. Pretty typical list, but you also got Gravity Crush as your spicy tech. Nice. And then finally, as our last region, we're going to look at EU's regionals hosted by Raiden Trades of BT13. First place was again Shine Greymon. Very interesting to see that still doing absolutely well. It's the deck to beat. Royal Knights coming in second, Hunters in third. Yep, it looks like the top decks of the format are pretty established, you know, pretty firm. Alphamon is also in there. Eduardo Masi getting 6th place. So yeah, it's definitely like sneaking in there and becoming a more relevant deck. It's absolutely able to do well, and I'm really excited to see people, you know, perform with it. So that was the Shine Greymon list. Royal Knights, I wonder if there's any text or if it's the same kind of stuff we've seen before. Oh, we got Porcupamon and Marcus here because they really want to hate against the memory or rather play cost reduction blockers like Psychmon. So that's really funny there. Otherwise, yeah, you pretty much just run what the deck tells you to do, and it's a player skill difference, you know, if they can get into top 16. That is awesome. Yeah, and then Shine Greymon, Hunters kind of throughout. Nothing too crazy from there. Royal Knights, Blue Flare, Shine Grey, Hunters, Road Hybrid, Grey X. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of looking like that's the top decks of this format. Shine Greymon is indisputably best deck in format. Hunters and Blue Flare are incredibly good decks. I would even toss Alphamon into that same grouping of really good decks that have a great matchup spread, and maybe people are underrating them and not wanting to play them in favor of the best decks. But if you do and you know what you're doing, those are really solidly performing decks that will go well. So like Shine Greymon, like absolutely best deck in format. Those three, maybe like tier 1.5 just underneath them. if not bottom of tier 1 or something like that. Royal Knight's probably somewhere up there with Shine as well. Black Work Rare 1X, a very good sleeper hit that is going to be doing well into the format. And it seems like Mirage is not performing nearly as well. We have not seen a single Mirage, right? At all in top 16. Okay, so there was one for the Oceana Online Regional. That is fantastic to see there. So let's go ahead and see what they did there. But I'm really curious if I missed. Okay, yeah, so there's another one here. Unfortunately, I also missed that. My bad. Faisal Majid, top 16. And then any in Mexico. No, that was like all Shine in Mexico. But there have been a couple, but it's only like one and like barely. It's not even making some regional top 16s. Other than that, it does look like a pretty standard list that came in 15th place here. So I'm really curious to see what the issue with there is. I guess it's just like too many pieces for an easily interruptible combo, because this deck literally has no protection. Like Shine also like barely has protection, but you're digivolving for free. You don't care if your thing gets blown up. You got tamers in the back that are gonna do like a billion swings, and then your stuff is all free because of Marcus or because of something else reducing it. So you're constantly digivolving so cheap, you don't even mind it, or you're gaining back so much memory from your tamers and that Agumon and stuff. So it's not as bad when you get blown up. And then the stuff that Royal Knights plays out are either have protection or very strong when they come out to make, you know, to justify their play costs. So, you know, so Mirage lacking some kind of protection and not having the most consistent OTK, because you are still like looking for all these Digivolution lines, looking for the Marcuses and all that, you know, it's just not fast enough, I think, for how frail its combo is. And its control isn't anything too crazy either. You could only do the bounce with Mirage Galgamon once, and most of the time you want to strip a security instead. I think you do get another bounce with the BT13 one when Digimon evade. When Digimon return opponent's tamers. No, specifically tamers, which would mess up some decks, but like it's not the end of the world for most, honestly. Especially since it's only one. So yeah, I don't know. I guess like you just don't have too good of a control, and your aggro isn't too safe. So it's kind of just like, you know, worst of both worlds is what if I would have to guess about Mirage. But yeah, I'm pretty surprised because like it's a pretty strong O2K. You know, it's not the most inconsistent thing in the world between 4 boosts and your tamers that give you draws on play. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just probably like it's not fast enough into certain matchups, and the ones that it is fast enough into, like their security is just gonna blow you out. I'm assuming that's the issue here because it doesn't have any kind of protection unlike Metal Garurumon X, which did. But yeah, that's going to be the video. That's what the info we're gleaming from these last couple of tons of regionals. I hope you guys found this helpful and informative because it was a lot of fun making it. It's always really cool to see what is topping throughout the format, and I think it's a really good refresher for myself as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what you think of this format. And until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.